to show you how to brown butter. Now you may ask, why would you brown butter? And the simple answer is you don't have to, but if you want to impart a little richer flavor to your dish, then browning butter is a nice way to go about that. So it's going to give it just a little deeper flavor, a little bit of a nutty flavor. Usually brown butter will be used in some sauces for savory dishes, but it's being used a lot in cookies and cakes and other desserts now as well. So we're going to use, this one is a 10-inch saute pan. I've got my fire on medium heat. And then my butter is still a little bit cold. I set it out maybe 2 hours ago. So it's softened up a little bit, but I have cut it into as even a pieces as I could, because we want all of our butter to melt at the same rate. If you take a stick of butter or a block of butter and put it in and it's out of the fridge, you're going to have butter that is melted and starting to brown when you still have solid butter. So you want this to all brown evenly. So melt evenly and brown evenly. So we're just going to get this up to a warm temp here. You're just going to, whatever your recipe, however much butter it calls for, if you want to brown the butter, brown that amount. If you're making a sauce and you don't have a recipe, then just brown however much butter you think you'll need. So as this is warming, so I'm going to just dump my butter in here. And I'm going to turn it down just a little bit because I don't want it to go too fast. So I'm going to turn it down between medium and low. And to start off with, I'm just going to kind of try to get these pieces separated so that they will continue to melt. And then we'll turn it back up. And I'm just using the whisk to just try to get this butter moving around so that it will melt quickly, so that it will all be liquid. And we're almost there. All right, so it's all melted. So I'm going to turn this back up on medium. And we're just going to let it go. You're going to notice how the oil starts to separate from the milk solids. So what is going to brown is actually your milk solids. So as they start to drop, you want to just kind of keep it moving. So just kind of move it around. You can adjust your heat a little bit. Every stove is going to be different. This stove actually cooks hotter than my old gas stove did. So you just kind of want to move it around to keep them moving. Just be careful not to slosh it out of your pan. So you want to use a pan that's big enough so that you don't have a huge thick. You wouldn't want to do this like in a saucepan. You will not have enough surface. Okay. And then of course when you see that bubbling, you've got to remember there is a fair amount of water in your butter as well. So you're going to get a little bit of that bubbling, and that's, you know, part of those solids. But you can see how they have separated. So just keep it moving. If you don't like using, just swirling the pan, you can use a whisk or a spatula. The key is just to keep it moving. And this will take a few minutes, depending on how high your heat is and how much you have in there. I have about a cup and a quarter of butter in there, so it'll take just a little bit longer. If you're just browning like a half a cup, which would be like one stick, then it's not going to take as long because it's not going to be as deep. So I can't really give you a time of how long it will take. It just really depends on how much you're working with. And what we're waiting for is for it to get foamy. Once it gets foamy, we're almost to the browning point. So see, it's starting to get foamy, so we know that it's getting close. All right, you can see how it's getting real foamy. And actually you can see where it's just starting to turn. You can see how the solids are now more of a golden color. So we're going to turn the heat off. And what's going to happen is what's called carryover cooking. So it is so hot that it's going to continue to brown. Even though there's no heat going to it, it's going to continue. So we're just going to kind of swirl this just a little bit. But you can see how it is in there. So I'm going to use the whisk here. Just kind of mix it. And this just keeps those solids from just sitting on the bottom of the really hot pan so they don't burn. You don't want burnt butter. But that is a nice caramely, move some of this foam out of the way. You can see the nice golden, kind of an amber color. Just really a nice color. So we're just going to let this sit and cool. And once it's cooled down, it's ready for you to use if you're going to use it in baking or making a sauce for a savory dish.